Hey guys, it's Rich with your Monday Spot on the Pagan Perspective. This week we're talking about including family in your practice, and this one comes from Mama Willow, who writes, how do you begin, or where would you begin in making the transition from solitary practice to family practice? I've been a solitary for 10 plus years. Now I have a partner and 2 toddlers, and am lost as to where to start on including them. Book recommendations would be wonderful. So, I have to preface all of this by saying that I do not have a partner, I do not have children, and children, even if I did have a partner, would really be one of those things that I really don't want right now, or really don't feel the need to have in my life. So yeah, that's something that I cannot advise on children as far as raising them. But I can give my little 2 cents anyway, as far as if I were to have children, where would I start? Or if I were to start including children in my practice, such as if my nephew wanted to learn, where I would start teaching my nephew, who is now 10 years old. So, yeah, where would I start if he wanted to learn about what Uncle Rich believed? So, first things first, I would start with the Rupert's Tale, and it's a book series that goes through each one of the 8 Sabbaths. If you want to hear the book or see somebody reading the book, kind of like reading Rainbow story time, you can check out Jennifer's channel. I think it's Willow Wind, the Thrifty Witch, or something like that. If you look up Thrifty Witch, you'll probably find her. So, anyway, Jennifer goes through the book series and reads the books to the people out on the YouTube. So, I absolutely love the Rupert's Tale. And yeah, it's an 8-book series, which is kind of cute and fun. It goes through the different Sabbaths with this little rabbit as the central character, and he learns the different meanings for the different seasons or the different Sabbaths and whatnot. It's very cute, very much for little children, so I would highly suggest something like that. You can also get any of the plethora of witchy kids books out there that actually give children the nice view of a witch, rather than the evil witch that we see in things like Wizard of Oz and so on. This is a way of saying, hey, witches are not bad people. So that would be something that I would do to start them off. I would start telling them little stories here and there, little mythologies here and there, things that are, child friendly. I would keep it at that, and I would say this is, how this happened, or this is why we celebrate this. I would start telling the mythologies and whatnot, similar to how the church does it with Bible stories. I would do something similar to that in a way that is based with the mythologies and whatnot of your chosen practice. So I would go into something like that. And not only that, maybe even branch out beyond your own practice. Say if you're in a Hellenic tradition, maybe you want to branch off into the more Celtic mythologies and touch on those whenever you're giving these story times to the children and whatnot. That would be something that would broaden their mind and give them a more world view. So I would suggest doing something like that. As far as having them participate in circle, I would probably wait until maybe they're a little bit more mature. They know what is going on in circle. They know the purpose of circle and whatnot. And whenever they can participate in little ways, maybe you can tell them, oh, okay, you can cast a circle, and you cast it with them, or say, hey, be my little helper and help me cast a circle. And they go through with their little wand and go around, or with their athame, if you think they are old enough to handle a blade, and go through and cast a circle that way. However you cast it, show them how to cast, if that is a part of your tradition. So that's something that I would suggest, that hey, have them make their own wand. Go out into the woods, find a piece of tree, find out what tree it comes from, and find out the magical properties of that. And while you're making this wand, teach this child of the qualities of this tree, and let them know how important this is, that they got this gift from a tree, and what the tree means and what its purpose is in our ecosystem and whatnot. These are big things that us as adults don't normally think about. We kind of go and we say, and again, I'm going to go after my herbs. We go and we say, okay, I can buy cedar wood chips, and I can use it for this, this, and this, and then we don't think about, necessarily, not all of us, I mean, I'm sure a lot of you out there do, but not all of us think about, okay, this was once a tree, and where was this tree at? How was it harvested? What does it represent besides the magical qualities of it? What does it mean for our ecosystem that we are using cedar wood chips? How hard was it in the past, if we were not in a location where cedar wood was greatly available? How hard would it have been for us to get it? And do we appreciate the cedar wood chips that you can buy at any pet store? Do we appreciate that as much as the myrrh that we get from overseas, or the frankincense that we get from overseas, because it is becoming more and more endangered and whatnot? Do we give it the same level of respect as we should, or as we do with the myrrh, or the frankincense and myrrh? Do we give it the same respect to the cedar wood as being a gift given to us? And passing on this this reverence, this respect to the younger generation, I think would be a big help in their actual development to be stewards of this earth. So I think that would be a way to include them, is doing the little things and having them make their own tools, and teaching them a little bit of divination. Learning young with cards and everything is fascinating. I would have loved to have somebody teach me tarot cards whenever I was real little and everything. I would be probably 10 times better than I am now, but I would have loved somebody to take my hand and say, this is what this card means. And as a child, as somebody, even as a teenager, as somebody that was more imaginative, I could sit there and I could probably tell you more stories about this card, rather than now where my imagination is more stinted than what it was whenever I was younger. So even showing them a tarot card and saying, what do you see with this? And saying, well, this is its meaning for you now. So maybe doing something like that, maybe a more child-friendly type of divination tool. I know there are some decks out there that are just absolutely adorable. One of them, I think, what is it called? I think it's the Dragon's Tarot. It's like a cartoony deck. It's like the children's Dragon's Tarot. I can't remember off the top of my head. If you guys can remember the name of that tarot deck, please put it down in the bottom bar. If I remember, or if I can find out what the deck name is, go ahead and put it. I'll put it in the bottom bar as well. But the tarot deck in and of itself is absolutely adorable, totally children friendly, and I think it follows the Rider-Waite-Smith system. So I think that would be a great way to start if you want them to learn something like tarot, and saying, oh, okay, let's make up a story with this. And I think a child's imagination would be great for something like this. There's another thing that I just recently got, and I'm having a little fun with it. They're called story cubes, and it's like 9 dice that have different pictures on each side of the die, of each one of the 9 dice. And they're only little pictures, and there's no guidebook, nothing to it. But you roll out the dice, and whatever they land on, you start a story with them. Get the story cubes and try that out with children. I've heard of somebody actually on a podcast recently. It was a Circle of Salt podcast I was listening to. Somebody took the story cubes and they were divining with the story cubes. It was very cool. And thank you, Eric Adish, for telling me about the Circle of Salt podcast. I absolutely devoured it. I loved it. So anyway, for children, I think that's all that I have. Keep it fun, keep it safe, keep it child friendly. And as far as your partner, I think that those can be a little bit more adult, but the partner can be included in on all these little ventures and all that. It is a way for the whole family to come together and take part in a unified way. Even if the partner does not agree with the spiritual views, this is something that the children, if it rings true for them that paganism does ring true for them, that the partner themselves can take the child and support the child in that way. So anyway, now I'm starting to ramble and I'm starting to lose train of thought, so I'm going to wrap this up. I think that's all that I have for this week, so yeah, just make it fun, have lots of fun with it, and just include everybody. So until next time, may you have love, hugs, and ladybugs. Bye-bye.